Chapter 80, The Power of Encouragement.
When I was 19, I spent every Saturday from 1 a.m. to 10 a.m. in the control room of a low-power Christian radio station on the AM dial in Oklahoma. Our Saturday program lineup was mostly local guys with a message in their heart and $30 in their pocket. Dick Bailey was one of those guys. 9 hours came to about $20 a week after taxes, but Penny and I needed the money. So every Friday I would hurry home after 11 hours in a welding shop, sleep about 5 hours, then drive 40 minutes to the radio station where I would change tapes for the next 9 hours. Lunchtime saw me staggering home to fall into bed. All this for $20 a week. But I got to meet Dick Bailey. Old enough to be my granddad, Dick Bailey came to the studio each Saturday morning about 5:30 a.m. to do his radio show live from the top of Inspiration Mountain. He would always close the show by announcing where he was going to have breakfast, and he'd invite anyone listening to join him. When you change tapes once a week in the middle of the night on the number 21 radio station in a city of 21 stations, you are definitely the lowest form of life in broadcasting. Delivery men, the janitorial staff, and especially the part-timers at the FM station across the hall took great pleasure in ridiculing me. My incredibly low status was probably the reason Dick Bailey never failed to bring me a little gift each Saturday morning. Dick worked as a salesman for Brown and Bigelow, an advertising specialties company. The first of Dick's many gifts to me was to say, "Roy, you're doing a fine job," as he pressed into my hand a little screwdriver, which I carry on my keychain to this very day. The next week it was, "Roy, you're a hard worker, and I'm convinced you're going to be a great man someday." Then he handed me 2 Norman Rockwell prints, which Penny still proudly displays in our dining room. One week, Dick told me a big company had placed a large order for ink pens, which had qualified them to receive a $50 embossed leather thesaurus. He said they didn't care about the thesaurus, so he was having it sent to me. Dick Bailey believed in me long before I believed in me. His affirmations each week helped me bounce out of bed with a sense of mission and purpose. There might have been only 14 people listening to my station, but one of them was Dick Bailey, and Dick cared whether I did a good job. One Friday evening, Penny and I opened our mail to find the most elegant leather thesaurus we had ever seen. 12 hours later, as the morning clock approached 5:30 a.m., I walked from the control room to the parking lot to see if I could spot Dick getting out of his car. Finally, I walked back to the control room and turned the page of the program log to find a little note from the station manager. "Dick Bailey died in his sleep yesterday. Please play one of his pre-recorded standby programs." Each morning as I unlock my office doors, a little screwdriver on my keychain quietly whispers, "Encourage the people around you today, for you never know who they might become or what tomorrow may bring."
Chapter 81, Leaving Something on the Table.
Cyril and John are negotiating. Cyril presses for 1 too many and causes the mercury to reach the boiling point on John's annoyance thermometer. Noticing the change in mood, Cyril smiles and excuses himself by saying, "I just wanted to be sure I wasn't leaving anything on the table. You can't blame me for trying." "Yes, Cyril, I can blame you for trying. I blame you because I was hoping we could both win. But now I see that I can never turn my back on you. I can never rest when you are near. You have revealed yourself to be the adversary you truly are. Thank you. I hope never to deal with you again as long as the earth revolves." Though these words are not spoken aloud, you can be sure they are carved in granite behind John's answering nod and smile. Who then is the loser in this negotiation? I believe there are times to leave something on the table. When you hope to do business with someone again, leave a little on the table. When you want a person to speak well of you, leave a little on the table. When you want superior service, leave a little more on the table. When you want to make someone your ally and your friend, be sure every deal is good for him, too, and change the deal when it's not. If your own reputation and future business dealings are of no concern to you, the only thing you must do to prove yourself a hard-nosed businessman is to squeeze the last drop out of every negotiation. It's easy to do. Just demand the very most for the very least in return. Grab and squeeze. Becoming the person to whom others enjoy giving a bargain is far more difficult. First, you must learn what the other person wants most out of the deal. Often there's an element of the transaction that's very important to him, but about which you care very little. Once you've uncovered this Achilles heel, do not dangle it like a carrot. Don't make him bargain for it at all. Make the concession immediately and with no strings attached. Then, with a smile, ask plainly for the thing that's most important to you. Typically, a mutually beneficial relationship will result, and you'll also have gained a friend who will be there for you the next time you need him. Will you maintain an adversarial posture and fight the whole world alone? Or will you win an army of friends? No one stands long on the battlefield who has not built an army of friends. To make an enemy your friend is easy. Simply do what a friend would do.
I will destroy my enemies by converting them to friends. Maimonides. Chapter 82. Celebrate the ordinary.
Everyone has heard of Murphy's Law. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. Who was this guy Murphy anyway, and why do we quote him? Any fool can see that a great deal more unexpected good happens each day than unexpected bad. Bad news is reported by the media only because it's so rare. Good news is so abundant that it's rarely considered news at all. Over the years, Murphy's whining has been published on enough calendars and printed on enough wall plaques that many Americans have adopted his twisted perspective as the foundation for their own worldview. Sitting in warm homes, driving beautiful cars, and eating delicious meals, these misguided friends still believe deep in their hearts that whatever can go wrong will go wrong. If we look for the bad in every situation, is there any doubt we will find it? Our lives are like an unplanned picnic. We awaken to find ourselves surrounded by beautiful scenery, good friends, and excellent food. Shall you and I fill this bright day with challenging games and warm conversation, or would you prefer to complain about the ants and fret about the mosquitoes? Take a moment to consider the abundance of good things in your life. Does anyone love you? Celebrate it. Is there anything you do well? Take pleasure in it. Is your health good enough to survive the day? Revel in it. If you want every day to be a happy day, you must learn to celebrate the ordinary. As a little boy in an Oklahoma Sunday school, I remember being taught to sing a song with a powerful final verse. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your many blessings, see what God has done. Murphy must never have had the chance to attend an Oklahoma Sunday school. What a pity. His life could have been so different.
There is no cure for birth or death, save to enjoy the interval. George Santayana. Chapter 83. Murphy finally figures it out.
The platitude known as Murphy's Law, whatever can go wrong will go wrong, was actually Murphy's third law in a series of 11 such observations. To satisfy your curiosity, Murphy's first law is, nothing is as easy as it looks. And his next 9 make increasingly cynical statements about the nature of the universe and the futility of life. Reaching a crescendo in Murphy's 10th law, Mother Nature is a bitch. I'm convinced the immortal Murphy intended to stop at an even 10 laws. But a startling revelation occurred to him in later years, leading him to formulate his insightful 11th law. Here he seems to have found an entirely new perspective. Number 11 causes me to believe Murphy finally figured it out. The real problem with society is people. No, this is not Murphy's 11th law. It's simply my own observation. It seems to me that everyone is frantically searching for someone who can supplement his shortcomings, and in the absence of such a savior, we rage in fury at the cosmos. I'm convinced this is why opposites attract. All of us have areas in which we are weak, and we're instinctively attracted to any person whose strengths are in those areas. Conversely, we have no patience with any person who's weak in an area where we are strong. A person who is always punctual has no respect for those who are habitually late. A thrifty person considers a liberal man foolish, and the liberal man calls the thrifty person stingy. Yet the world needs them both. Have you ever walked into an establishment and read the sign, "A lack of preparation on your part does not constitute an emergency on my part"? Such signs are just another indication of how the world is looking for someone who will come to the rescue, and of how few of us want to be that person. Rescuing people from the results of their own foolishness is really what customer service is all about. Customers rarely obey the rules. They expect you to rescue them whenever they do something stupid. Will you be a rescuer, known far and wide for customer service, or will you steadfastly insist that your customers follow proper procedures? Not only does every cloud have a silver lining, but it has a beautiful sky above it and a warm earth beneath. The world God gave us is flawless. It's you and I who need some work. Oh yes, Murphy's 11th law. It is impossible to make anything foolproof because fools are so ingenious. Do a new thing today. Rescue a fool who doesn't deserve it. Tomorrow, you may need him to rescue you from a shortcoming of your own.
Be thankful not only that you are an individual, but also that others are different. The world needs all kinds, but it also needs to respect and use that individuality. Donald A. Laird. Chapter 84. When in pain.
My dog Stubby was hit by a car when I was 5 years old. The image of my father stepping through the door with Stubby in his arms will forever be etched in my mind. I went into shock. Stubby was my best friend. Stubby wasn't dead, but his leg was badly broken and there was quite a lot of blood. As I stretched out my hand to stroke Stubby's head, my father took a step backward. "Wait," said Dad. "When a creature is in pain, he'll often bite whoever is near." This week, I received a long, vicious letter from a complete and total stranger. He claimed to be an expert in psychoanalysis and spent several paragraphs twisting his psychological knife into my guts. The malice of his letter was truly astonishing, as I had done nothing to deserve it. Rage sharpened my wit to a razor's edge and focused my mind to write the supremely caustic response. I lifted my pen as though it were an ice pick I would drive into his heart. Then I recalled the words of my father. I began my note by apologizing for what I had unwittingly done, then added, "I fear, however, that you have overanalyzed. None of the motivations of which you accuse me ever once crossed my mind." I assured the man that whatever annoyance I had caused was completely unintentional, and closed by asking him to forgive me. Respect for his privacy prohibits me from revealing the details of his reply, but I will share the two pivotal sentences. Actually, my psychology background is a personal issue, as my son is an autistic 7-year-old. I have kept up my studies of brain function primarily for his well-being. Stubby hobbled around the yard for a few weeks with an awkward cast around his leg. Afterwards, Stubby was fine. I think perhaps there are other wounds less easily mended.